You've heard fear of the darkness, but have you ever heard of the fear of light? Every day, I would go outside at an early time and watch the sunrise. I always used to be a fearful child, afraid of the darkness and whatnot. Just like any normal child, every child used to be afraid of the darkness, and so was I. But really, we have no reason to. It all started on the day, a Friday. It was 4 a.m., and I had gotten up to get away from the darkness of my home and watch the sun go to work again. Every day I used to go and watch the sunrise, but this time it was different. It was the beginning of summer, and the sun was supposed to be hot. As I watched it, it started to make me sweat. There was something particular about it. A small frog-like line covered the sun's middle. It didn't seem like much, so I quickly dismissed it and marveled at the sun's godly beauty. How I resplendent it looked. The thing that brought us light and heat every day. If we were without it, we would surely die of the cold. So the sun must be a good thing, right? Wrong. Shortly after the sun's arrival, I noticed the small frog line had formed a ring around the sun and even started to look like an eye. In the midst of this, I began to wonder why my eyes still haven't begun to hurt or even blink at the sun's presence. I couldn't move. I was stuck. Looking at the sun, I was trying to look away, but I couldn't. My eyes were fixed on the sun. My entire body was paralyzed, and I couldn't even move my mouth. I sat there, looking at the sun, staring at its blinding presence, and missing an inch of the light emitting from it. The sun and the fog had perfectly formed an eye, but the sun started to get smaller, as if the pupil of the eye was going away. As the sun started shrinking, I started to lose my eyesight, little by little, including each painful detail. It was over. The last thing I saw was the sun completely shrunk into nothing, and as it disappeared, my eyesight began to dissolve, and all I could see were whites. All the white fog that wouldn't go away, not even being replaced by the morning grass. I was blind, no more seeing. I couldn't see anything anymore. Just that white, foggy image. I woke up in the hospital, which my mom brought me after sitting on my yard like an idiot looking at the sun. I had a seizure, and sure enough went blind. After that fateful day, all I saw was that foggy, white horror. And that, my pretties, was The Sunrise, a regular creepypasta. My final thoughts on this story? This actually was a pretty good creepypasta. And I'm not gonna deny this one bit. This is honestly a really well made creepypasta. Basically, this involves the protagonist going outside to watch the sunrise, and then he ends up going blind. I think I understand and know what actually happened. The protagonist actually was looking at the sun for too long, and we all know how bright the sun is. It's very damn bright. It ends up blinding the protagonist's eyes. So, to put it as simple as it is, I actually really thought this story was actually pretty well made for it. Not scary or freaky or anything, but I definitely would have to say it was a good creepypasta for what this story really is. So, I mean, this story is just a bland story. I mean, I'm not saying it's terrible or anything. What I mean by bland is that it's just a simple story. It's not really like a creepypasta or something. Of course, it's not the type of story to make you jump out of your seats or anything like that. This story is just honestly just I could just say it's just kind of a short story. It's not scary or anything like that, but I would have to say it's definitely a story that I did not expect to have no scariness or anything whatsoever with this. I mean, maybe that's probably just me, but I think it's probably a good thing too. So, yeah. This story was definitely a something. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to sit here and, be a downer or anything. I'm just saying, I wish this story had some, scare factor, or at least something that will help make it, good or something. If that makes any sense. I'm not saying it will not make any sense or anything like that, but that's just how I personally thought that it was. That's just, I don't even know. I just I'm sorry. I'm just lost of words of how good this story is. I do wish that this story does have a good concept for what this pasta, was trying to portray, but I would like it maybe if there's more scare factor or something. But yet again, this story is not, the scariest creepypasta, but it's definitely a good one. So that is a good thing about this story. It's not scary, but it definitely does have a really good concept to, the whole story concept. If you could kind of get and understand where I'm coming from. Well, maybe that's just me, but yeah. I mean, the grammar is pretty good as well as the sentence structuring and the storyline. I'm not denying it one bit. I do like how well made the story really is. So, yeah. Definitely would have to say, I mean, I wish this was longer and maybe more storyline would, play out more. But that's just me in my own sense. If that just I don't know. I'm just lost of words at this point because I'm not saying it's a terrible story or anything. No, I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm just saying that this story honestly doesn't really it just doesn't really make sense really. If that kind of makes any sense, but yet again, I mean, I don't really know. But with that being said, I didn't think this was terrible. I actually thought this was a pretty neat story. Although it's a short story, but I still find it to be, rather interesting for what this story is. So, I definitely have to say it's a great creepypasta. I do find it to be pretty good for what it is, and it's definitely a really interesting I do find this one to be a story, but to me personally, I don't find this to be a a creepy pasta, but I find this to be more of a weird story. Like not weird story, but kind of more or less like just a normal story, not a creepy pasta. That's just me, but yeah, that's all I have to say. Like I'm gonna say, this is just simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these, oh, pardon me about it, I'm just a bit tired. Pardon me for the yawn. And this is my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this story would definitely have to be a 10 out of 10. Not a creepypasta, but I don't know why it's on the creepypasta wiki, but I think it does have some elements of it trying to be creepy, but I still find this story to be, rather enjoyable to put it bluntly as I can. Not terrible story, but definitely a good one. So, anyways, I guess with that being the case and with that being said, what did you guys think about this creepypasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you all not? Also, what we have done person to help make this story a lot better? Feel free to leave me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you're new to this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out.